You took the Northwestern assistant coaching job. You end up getting divorced. Seemed to turn into a reasonably dire financial time for you because on one hand you have to give a portion of your life savings to your ex-wife. You're also paying child support, which was based on what you were making in finance, where now you're making a nominal amount relative to that. You move in with your mother.
I moved back in. Yep.
Your then girlfriend, who's now your wife, told me that I think she loaned you like $5,000 at one point. She said she also actually mailed you gifts to give your kids for Christmas as if they were coming from you.
That's right.
How much of a struggle was it then? Did it quickly turn into financially?
It was you the way you portrayed it is very truthful, but it sounds like more of a struggle than it was.
Really?
And I'll tell you why. It was actually a good time to reassess what's important in your life. And if money was that important, I would have still been working in investment banking. It would have been easy. It would have been easy to go back to that. But when I decided to make the move, both my mom and my sister were advocating, do what you love. That's what my dad would have said. Don't just do it for the money. And my dad always said that. He said, do what you love doing. If you do it well enough, the money either will come or it won't make any difference because you love what you're doing. I mean, that sounds so simple, but nobody says that. Nobody says that to anybody. It's all about the money and all about stuff. So it could be perceived as dire, but I had enough to pay my bills. And then I eventually got good at coaching, got a head coaching job, and then stuff sort of gets back to normal.
You've talked repeatedly about, the learning something, taking something away from each situation you've been in. Those close to you've made no secret that, it was a bitter divorce. You and I guess your ex-wife still don't talk to this day. I guess there was a substance abuse problem. You have custody of the kids. What do you think, looking back, you learned from that part of your life?
What I learned is you can't ever tell what your situation's going to end up, even if it starts out great. And you have to be adaptable. And, I looked at my parents. When my mom married my dad, she didn't know he was going to have MS. And she had to adapt. He had to adapt. And what I've found is I've had to really adapt. And I continue to.
Your wife, Kelly, was telling me that, after you guys got married, your sister says to her, look, the one thing I never want to hear from you is that things are fine, because that's all I ever heard from my brother, that things were fine until I found out he was getting divorced. Why, you've spoken so much about how close of a family you guys have in such a trying time. Keep something like that from the mom and sister.
Right. That's an easy one, Graham. The whole time I was thinking it might work out. So what I've always thought I know that if I was sharing all of the bad stuff with the rest of my family, they would never get over it. I would get over it, they would never get over it. And I wouldn't be able to do that to my ex-wife or to my wife. If you get into it too much and you tell them everything, they'll never forgive your significant other. So that was the reason why, being as close as our family was, they were all shocked that I was getting a divorce. Because my sister was really not happy with me.
Really?
Oh no, she was not happy.
What did she say?
She was like, how could you not tell me how could you go through all this and not tell me? And I told her that reason. She was like, I would have been able to get over it, and nobody can. My recommendation is, if you get into a fight with your girlfriend, don't tell your mom or your sister, because they will be madder than you eventually. So that's why I didn't.